Dear friends, welcome to this Electrical Engineering Knowledge Sharing channel AMP Power System Workshop. We are under Workshop 1 Power System Protection. Under Workshop 1, we have already completed 8 sessions, and today we are going to discuss a new session, session 9, where we will discuss about capacitor bank protection. Now, when we are going to discuss about the capacitor bank has a wide application in different purposes. Capacitor banks can be used in extra high voltage or ultra high voltage system. It can be used in medium voltage distribution system. It can be used also in low voltage distribution system. But the purpose of using capacitor bank in different voltage levels are different. Let's first discuss extra high voltage or ultra high voltage system application of capacitor bank. Then we'll go to the medium voltage distribution. Then we'll go to the low voltage distribution. Now let's see in 45 to 50 minutes how much we can complete. If we can complete this capacitor bank, if still we have some time, then we may go to this grounding transformer protection. Now, so capacitor bank, from the application point of view, we can see capacitor bank can be used in 3 different purposes. One is a extra high voltage or ultra high voltage system, that is 130 kV, 220 kV, 400 kV, 600 kV, like this. Another is a medium voltage distribution system, and third is a low voltage distribution system. So our discussion will be limited in these 3 voltage level. And second point, this capacitor bank will be using as a power handling equipment. Is not for this coupling capacitor or this for the distance protection. In the USB system we use a capacitor, but it is not for that. It is only for the power handling purpose. We will be discussing the capacitor bank from that point of view. Now when you go to the extra high voltage or ultra high voltage power system, transmission system, what is the use of capacitor? Now here we have to discuss from this voltage application point of view. When you look into the capacitor, this 3 level of voltage where we use the capacitor is not the same type. The capacitor bank which is used for this extra high voltage or ultra high voltage system, that capacitor we call series capacitor. This is we call series capacitor. But in the distribution system on the LV distribution or medium voltage distribution, the capacitor bank which we use, we call it is a shunt capacitor. So from the application point of view, the capacitor bank can be divided as per the voltage application point. There are 3 levels of application, but from the type of capacitor bank point of view, capacitor bank can be classified 2 groups. One is a series capacitor, another is a shunt capacitor. Series capacitor we use for AHV and ultra high voltage system. Shunt capacitor we use for the medium voltage and low voltage distribution system. Now, what is the application of series capacitor in the extra high voltage purpose? Before going into the protection of this capacitor bank, we need to discuss it. Now, if you see the extra high voltage or ultra high voltage transmission system, how that is work? That is a power station. There is a generating transformer. There is a switchboard or switch gear. From here, this transmission line is going, and this is the receiving end. So here there is a sending end voltage. This is a receiving end voltage, and this line has a inductance. This is the inductance of the line. This is the way it is working. This is the power plant. There is a multiple generator connected to this switch on this bus. Now, when we sending the voltage Vs and at the receiving end we get the voltage, this voltage is not same. This is a voltage difference between these two. If you take the magnitude, that is equal to delta V. This delta V in sending end voltage is normally greater than receiving end voltage. So there is a voltage drop in the receiving end. So this voltage drop, how much this delta V will be there? That delta V, if we ignore this resistance of this transmission line, this delta V is equals to induct or the reactance of the line into capacitive or reactive kVR flown in the line divided by receiving end voltage. That will be the delta V value. Delta V value depend on the line reactance into the amount of reactive kVR. Q is a kVR. How much kVR is flowing in the line and the receiving end voltage. So from this equation it is clear, this X, as the value of X is more and more, voltage drop will be more and more, and this voltage drop, and the more, secondly, if the kVR flowing is more and more, then also the voltage drop will be more and more. and this kVAR actually it is not the active power, it is used for the maintaining the voltage. So if we can reduce this kVAR value, automatically voltage profile will be better at the receiving end and the loss will be also less, because this kVAR, if we look to the total current in the transmission line, that equal to a square root of IP square plus IQ square, means active power, current due to active power and current due to reactive power square. So if we reduce this IQ, automatically I will be less. If I is less, then the copper loss on the line will be less. So the loss is depend on the current. Therefore, by reducing the Q also, we can increase the improve the efficiency of the line. Means we can reduce the voltage drop and we can increase the efficiency of the line. So purpose of this series capacitor using in the transmission line to improve the voltage drop, means we want to reduce the voltage drop in the line. So if we want to reduce the voltage drop in the line, then what we have to do? We have the tool over here. Either we have to reduce the reactance of the line or we have to reduce the reactive part transmission through the line. So that is how we do. This X value is, X is a inductive reactance. This X equal to how much? This is equal to L into omega. Now this, if you see the vector diagram of this, we say reactance is working this way, inductive reactance is working this way. Now if we can insert some capacitance on the line, then the capacity, due to capacitance there will be reactance. This is a inductive reactance. If I put some capacitance, then it has some reactance that is equal to 1 by omega c. So and this capacitive reactance acting opposite direction of the inductive reactance. That means if I can put some capacitive reactance on this line, then the XL value will be, when we sum these two, it will be, so this amount will be XC will be deducted. So effectively line has only this amount of X, final X value. Final X value will be XL minus XC, as XC is working in opposite direction. So final reactance value will be this. That means if I can insert some capacitance inside the line, then automatically the effective reactance of the line will be reduced, and when the effective reactance of the line is reduced, automatically voltage drop of the line at the receiving end voltage will be higher than the previous value. That means this voltage drop will be less, and when the voltage drop is less, automatically what will happen? Your current will be less in the line. When this reactance value goes down, automatically kVAR, this XC also injecting kVAR, so this reactive power handling capacity will be reduced, will be flown will be less, so we will get a better voltage profile and better efficiency of the line. So using series capacitor in the line, intention is to reduce the X value so that we can get a better voltage at the receiving end. So that's why as it is connected in series with the line, we call it a series capacitor. Okay, so this is the application for series capacitor. It is used for the EHV, extra high voltage or ultra high voltage transmission line like 132 kV, 220 kV, 400 kV. To demonstrate this thing, now we are now talking about this capacitor bank. Now this capacitor bank, we will discuss about the protection of this capacitor bank. So this is the background why the series capacitor is used in the transmission line. So the answer is series capacitor we use in the transmission line to reduce the voltage drop and to improve or efficiency, increase the efficiency of the line, right? So now to save our time, I have drawn the picture in advance. This is the transmission. We have drawn this picture. This is the power plant. This is a generating transformer. This is a sending and bus bar, and this is going over here. And this is the capacitor bank. We are connecting between the point A and B. So when we connect, that means what we said. This is a VS sending and bus bar, and this is a breaker, and then this is a point A, and this is a point B. Between this, we are using the series capacitor. Then it is going line in the receiving end. This is the bus bar arrangement. Both ends there is a breaker. Now this capacitor, it is a high voltage capacitor. So when we are inserting a capacitor inside the transmission line in the substation, then we have to look into the various possibilities. When if this capacitor is another piece of equipment which is connected in the EHV system, so maintenance of this equipment, servicing of this equipment, if there is a problem with the equipment itself, in that case the equipment will be bypassed from the system. So all this possibility we have to look into when we are going to look into the protection of this capacitor bank. To demonstrate that thing, how we do this, we just not simply connect this capacitor in the line. We have a lot of switching operation is required to use this capacitor in the transmission line. First of all, when you use this capacitor bank, first we have to see if this capacitor bank has some problem. then how I can isolate the capacitor bank? So this should be disconnected from the line, but at the same time, this capacitor bank I am using as a cosmetic to improve the receiving end voltage. But if the capacitor bank is not there, still I can get the voltage over here. So if the capacitor bank has some problem, then immediately I should not trip the line. Line should maintain, but it should bypass. That means I have to arrange some bypass arrangement. If the capacitor bank has some problem, immediately I will switch off the capacitor bank and I will connect the bypass line. It will go through this. So all this arrangement to be looked into. So for looking into this, what is the first thing is required? The isolation provision of the capacitor bank from the line, that we have to look into. That provision we have to provide. Once I isolate the line, then immediately I have to find I have to see the provision that once isolation, the capacitor bank is still line can flow. So there is a bypass arrangement should be there. These are the two things first we have to look into. Then third thing, capacitor bank has a problem. Capacitor bank, this type of series capacitor, when you switch on, then it will produce a high induced current. Along with the high induced current, there will be high harmonics also will be generated. So that these high harmonics and the high induced current, that can put a high surge on the system. So system may not able to withstand that. So that also to be reduced. That means this capacitor bank alone cannot provide. We have to put some arrangement, some damping arrangement, so that this induct will not go high, frequency will not go high when this breaker is closed immediately. So that also to be damp out, that arrangement to be looked into. Then suppose this capacitor bank is on the line, suddenly you switch off the capacitor bank, then this charge lying on the capacitor bank, that to be drained. So that draining arrangement should be there. So all these things we have to look into one by one, how we can install the capacitor bank, then only we can discuss about the protection. To discuss this thing, what do we understand that for isolation purpose, what do we do? Between the point A and B, we do put isolator. That is, I have drawn over here. This is the point A and this is point B. In between, we are putting the capacitor. How we put the capacitor? This is our capacitor bank. But when we put the capacitor bank part, I have to provide the isolation arrangement. So what do we do? This is the point A and this is point B. So we put an isolator on both sides between A and B before connecting the capacitor bank. So when I want to isolate the capacitor bank, immediately I will isolate it. So this capacitor bank, suppose capacitor bank is connected over here. So the moment I isolate the isolator, immediately capacitor bank will isolated, power is flowing this way. So this power can flow. In that case, I have to put another isolator over here. So the moment I open this isolator, immediately I will close this isolator. So main power will flow, isolator will be isolated. So that is this to meet, we are meeting this two requirement. That is I have shown over here. So this is the point A and B. In between we have put, this is the isolator and this is the isolator. This is a bypass isolator. This is a bypass isolator and this is the isolator for isolation of the capacitor bank. So this part is given. Now then I have said that this capacitor bank, it should have a damping circuit. So how we do that? This is a capacitor bank connected, and with the capacitor bank we have a damping circuit. This is your XD and it is RD. This is a LR circuit. This LR circuit actually gives the damping of this system. It will not allow to go the induced current very high value. So this is called the damping circuit. So this damping circuit we are meeting. Third point we told, when this capacitor bank is disconnected, immediately capacitor bank, the capacitance on the charge on the capacitor to be discharged. For that we put another bypass circuit here. The moment capacitor is switched off, suppose this is switched off, immediately all this charge remaining in this, it will be drained through this inductance and the resistance. This is another LR circuit. This LR circuit used for the discharging the resistance. These are the four things we have completed. This is isolation provision is there, bypass provision is there, damping circuit is there, fourth is a capacitor discharge circuit is there. Okay. So once it is completed, then we can discuss about the protection of the capacitor, this series capacitor, how we protect. For this series capacitor, let's see what is the abnormal condition can come in. First you see, this capacitor, this is a three phase. So each phase there is a capacitor bank inside like this. So it may happen between the phase there will be phase fault. If there is a phase fault, then immediately what will happen? Huge current will pass through the line. To protect this thing, what do? We put a CT over here on the incoming side with a instantaneous overcurrent delay, IDMT overcurrent delay, these two, and then we connect 50 on N also for any earth fault in the system. For after the isolator, if there is a fault, then earth fault will be cleared by 50 on N. And during switching on, it may happen the system from where the power supply is coming. This is a system, this is a VS and this is a VR. Power supply is coming from there, capacitor bank is connected over here, right? This is a capacitor bank connected. It may happen the system is unbalanced. If the system voltage is unbalanced, then unbalanced current will be going there. or if there is a problem with this capacitor bank, individual capacitor bank, if you see this is a one phase of the capacitor bank, okay. Now in each phase there is a multiple units are connected in series parallel. This way the capacitor bank is made, but each capacitor bank has a protected by a fuse. There is a fuse in every unit, lot of fuse. If this fuse blown, then what will happen? That part will not carry any current. Then when there will be imbalance in this, if this type of imbalance is there, that also imbalance current will be detected by 47. It is an unbalanced current, unbalanced relay that can be protected in that case, this type of imbalance. So in the incoming point, we are putting this overcurrent arc fault and the imbalance protection. That is for the incomer point. But this is a all protection as time delay. You know, it is a high voltage transmission line. This high voltage transmission line, this overcurrent or arc fault protection, it could be due to surge also, due to, you know, I told already, due to switching time, we have a huge inrush current. During inrush current, this 50 may pick up. That will give a wrong information. That's why, as it is a high voltage system and it is connected with the series with the line, we take a very precise protection. We put a differential protection in this capacitor bank. That means the capacitor bank, how it is connected. So this is the transmission line is going. This is the capacitor. This is the other end. Now what we are doing, this capacitor bank, it is connected between these 2 points. You can say this way, this is our capacitor bank. So we are protecting differential protection over here. Okay, 87 relay, we are putting between these two, it will poke this capacitor bank. For any internal fault inside, any fault, immediately 87 will operate. This is one phase I have drawn. So this 87 also we have shown over here, capacitor bank differential protection we have to provide. This will give a precise instantaneous protection, but it will be bias protection. Okay, high differential, but a high impedance differential, bias impedance protection. Then in addition to this, what do we do in case of, as the capacitor, you know, I already told the capacitor bank is not one unit, it is a multiple unit connected in series parallel combination. So suppose this is a capacitor bank, in one of the phase I am drawing over here. So this is a capacitor bank. Suppose there are 2 unit, or it can be multiple unit. It could be multiple unit like this, here also multiple unit. So center point of these two, we find out during manufacture of the capacitor bank, we told the manufacturer, find tapping the center point. In this center point, if there is any of the capacitor bank failed, any of the unit of the capacitor bank or multiple unit of the, in any one of the capacitor bank, one of the phase capacitor bank is failed, then what will happen? There will be imbalance current will be flowing through this. So these 2 points, this is the midpoint. So it's supposed to be same voltage, this point and this point. If this voltage is B, this point also B, so the voltage difference between these will be 0. But if any of the capacitor unit is failed, either these or any of them, then immediately this voltage will not be 0. There will be, suppose this is a V1 and this is a V2. V1 minus V2 has some value. There will be voltage difference between this point. Due to this, there will be current flowing through this. That means when current flowing between these 2 center point, it indicates there is a failure in the capacitor unit inside the capacitor bank. So what we do? We detect this current flowing through this by a CT. We put a CT over here and then we put a instantaneous relay with a timer. So that if this relay picked up, it indicates there is a unit failure inside the capacitor bank. Immediately we give the tip command to the breaker. Okay, this is another protection, that is the internal protection, that is I have shown over here. This capacitor bank internal protection also provided. And the last point we have to discuss, that is in case of external fault. Suppose this is a transmission line, this is a transmission, this is a breaker, this is a transmission line is coming, this is a breaker, and this is a capacitor bank is located over here, it is going to the receiving end, right? That is our system. Here it is a BS. Suppose there is a fault over here. In that case, what will happen? The fault current is flowing through this. If the fault current flows through this, what will happen? This capacitor has a reactance XC. When fault current passes, this is a huge high fault current. This due to high fault current, there will be a voltage drop across the capacitor bank. How much that voltage drop? V equal to I into XC. Now this I is a fault current, is not the normal current. This fault current may be 20 times of the normal current. So the voltage developed across the capacitor bank will be 20 times. That means this is my capacitor bank. When I connected the capacitor bank between point A and B, this is A and this is B. So capacitor bank is connected over here. This is our capacitor bank, is going in this way. Now between this point there is a high voltage drop, V equal to I into XC. I is the fault current. So due to this voltage drop, what will happen? The capacitor bank will burn out. It will be fail. A spark over in the capacitor bank. Capacitor bank is not designed for this high voltage. It will burn out. So how do we do in that case? We put a lightning arrestor across this. We put a lightning arrestor So if there is a high voltage develop across this, immediately this lighting arrestor will be spark over, and then immediately the high voltage will pass through this. When high voltage pass through this, we put a CT over here and we put a instantaneous relay. So the moment spark over take place, high voltage current, due to flash over, the current pass through this, and then immediately this CT will be operated. There will be current flowing through this, and then this 50 relay will operate, and that will protect from the external fault. If there is any external arc fault or phase fault, in either case, this voltage will be very high. Immediately this 50 relay will be operating. But normal condition, it is open. It is a lighting arrestor, so it is open and it is not connected. So normal operation, this relay is not, or this CT is not saying any current. But when there is a high voltage flashover, immediately the CT will see the current, and then it will be operating. Now, how it will be operating? It will be operating. What do we do? During this time when this is opening, immediately this capacitor bank to be bypassed, because any fault in the capacitor bank, whatever the protection we have said here, if any of the protection operate, then the capacitor bank should be bypassed, but the main line should flow the power. Main line should not be disturbed. That is the intention of us, because this is a transmission line. We are putting capacitor bank for cosmetic purpose to reduce the voltage drop. So due to problem with the capacitor bank, we should not disconnect the line. So what we have to do, in under any circumstances, any problem with the capacitor bank, this line should not be disturbed. The line should be maintained. So this should be bypassed. Which way? So through a bypass isolator. But actual operation, how we do? We have discussed already the bypass isolator, the main isolator. In parallel to the main, this this two isolator of the of your capacitor bank, we put another circuit breaker over here. This is our circuit breaker. We put this circuit breaker. When any of the this circuit breaker is normally open. Okay, this circuit breaker is normally open. This is a bypass isolator. It is a point B, and this is point A. This is a bypass isolator, and this is your isolator for the capacitor bank, and this is your capacitor bank. Okay, and any fault in the capacitor bank, what we do? We put one circuit breaker over here in parallel. What any of the protection operated for the capacitor bank, this breaker is normally off. The moment capacitor bank fail for any of the fault operation, then immediately this breaker will get closed. The moment this breaker closed, immediately you see this is the capacitor bank has a impedance path. Immediately power will flow this way. Then what we do? We close this isolator. It is a motorized or manual. It is actually motorized isolator. We close this isolator and we open this isolator. Then the power will be flowing this way. The moment fault takes place, immediately we are bypassing the capacitor flow by closing this breaker. The moment breaker close, power will flow this way. After that, what we do? We are closing this bypass isolator and opening this capacitor bank isolator. Then the capacitor bank will be totally isolated, and we will treat the breaker, and then we see what is the problem with the capacitor bank. So okay, so these are the arrangement for the capacitor bank. So ultimately, what we can see, for the protection of the series capacitor, what are the protection we are providing? We are providing differential protection 87. We are providing on the capacitor bank. We are providing instantaneous overcurrent protection 51. We are providing 51A. We are providing, and then we are providing 47. In addition to this, we are also providing 50N. You can say either it is that is a spark over protection. Okay, these are the protection. Now 87, we have already discussed how this is the transmission line, 3 line. You can say this way, and from here the capacitor bank is connected in parallel, right? This way capacitor bank is connected. So what we are doing, it is one phase I am showing. If we draw 3 phase, then another phase will be here. This is another phase, okay? And the third phase will be here. So now what we are doing, we are putting we are putting CT over here. This phase CT, this is one phase CT. Second phase CT will be 2 CT will be here. Third phase 2 CT will be here. Okay. So all this neutral will be connected. All these 3 will be connected over here. And then from here, and this here, it will go 87 relay, 87 ABC 3 relay will be connected. So this will be arranged for the differential protection for the capacitor bank. Then for the arc fault protection and overcurrent, we make a common CT. We don't put separate CT. What do we do? This is a common line. Okay, this is the 3 line, and the capacitor bank is connected. This is the capacitor bank. Okay, this is the capacitor bank, and it is this point is A, and this point is B. Okay, this is a B point, and it is A point. What do we do? We put a 3 CT over here. These are the 3 CT. This CT is a neutral, is shorted over here, grounded, and then here what do we do? We put a 50, and then we put 51, we put 47. Okay, these 3 are connected, all are same way. Suppose this is a phase, This is a B phase and C phase. So this is A, then 50 also, B phase also we do in the same way, 47, okay, and then the C phase in the same way we will connect, then A phase also will do in the same way. Then we short this 3 and then we provide 51 N over here and it is coming back to the earthing point. Okay, this way you provide the combined this protection 50, 51, 47, 50 N. Okay, and this 50 we have already shown how it will connect. It will be the same way. We will be connecting 3 CT on this lighting arrestor connection. When this is connected to the lighting arrestor, so this is the lighting arrestor is connected over here. We will put 3 CT over here. This is 3 CT. Immediately what we will do? We will put a normally there is no current over here. The moment there is a spark over, then immediately current will go. Okay, so we can put a 50 relay over here. This is a 50 relay and it will be grounded. So immediately, and this is the neutral point grounded, it will be operating. Either you can put 50 or 50, you can say also 50 N. Setting will be very less. This way we provide the 50 N relay, but all this protection will be ultimately tripping this breaker, this circuit breaker. Okay, now sometime this, and there is another differential, another overcurrent protection we have provided for the capacitor bank internal unit failure. This is a capacitor bank internal failure. So this is the 2 bank I am showing. This point should be equal. So here we put, this is 1 phase. So we put 1 CT. If there are 3 phase, as it is a 3 phase, we put 3 CT. And then what we will do? This we can sum this current, and then we provide a 50 N relay over here. If there is imbalance current, then immediately it will operate. Or is simply 50 relay you can put. If there is imbalance in this current in this point, then immediately current will flow through this any of the phase, then it will operate. So this way we provide all the protection. Sometime here also we can provide a differential protection. Instead of doing like this, we can do in different way. Suppose if the capacitor bank, suppose this is a capacitor bank, 2 unit, it is one, I am showing in 1 phase. Okay, before we center point we tap and we connect over here. Instead of doing that, this is a one capacitor phase, 1 phase. We can put CT over here, and then suppose this is a S1 and this is S2. This is S1. We can do a cross connection. S2 can be connected over S1 here. This is we call differential for bank. Here we can put a 87 or that we can put a differential 87 relay over here. In that case, if there is a fault in this capacitor bank internal, we can detect this. You see here what will happen? The current is flowing this way. So this current will come through the relay, and when current flowing this way, this is S1, it will be coming this way. So one current is coming this way, another current is going this way. So all normal condition it is not balanced, it is balanced. The moment this current, these and these are different, this current and this current suppose I1, this is a current of this current, suppose this current is I1 and this CT, this is S1 point. If this current is I2 and if there is a difference, I1 and I2 is not equal, immediately there will be current in the relay will operate. We call it this way also we can protect this. Instead of 50 here, we can protect this way also differential arrangement. So these are the protection for the series capacitor. Okay. So now we will go to the medium voltage capacitor bank. So in the case of medium voltage capacitor bank, we use medium voltage capacitor for different purpose. We use medium voltage capacitor for improving the power factor of the capacitor bank to reduce the reactive VAR. Okay. Purpose of the medium voltage and low voltage capacitor bank application is different. We use the medium voltage and low voltage capacitor bank in the distribution system to improve the power factor. If you look into the power factor of the line, how we define the power factor? This is your kilowatt and this is your kVA, right? These are two perpendicular and this is we call kVA. This is a kVA. Now this angle we call the power factor. Power factor is defined by cos phi. Okay. Now you know any consumer in the medium voltage or low voltage industrial consumer, their electricity bill is being paid not based on only kilowatt or on the kilowatt hour. They need to pay the bill also for the kVA. If that is what we call is maximum demand. kVA we call is maximum demand. So the bill to be paid kilowatt hour, as well as during billing, the utility company also consider how much kVA he has drawn. Maximum value of the kVA also recorded, because when you drawing the kVA, what will happen? I already said that total current in the line is the square root of active power square plus reactive power square. Now kVA has a active power as well as reactive power. The reactive power current component has no meaning, is no meaningful power, is not giving any effect. But it is only what it is doing, it is only giving unnecessary loss and it is loading the line due to current. Voltage drop will be more. That's why we always try, utility company always try to, consumer should reduce the reactive power consumption. So, but consumer has a, depending, each consumer has a, industry has a multiple motors there which is operating on a low power factor. In that case, they cannot control the drawing of the KVR from the line. In that case, what will happen? They have to pay more bill. So what they do, so they try to reduce this power factor. How they do it? If they can reduce the power factor, means if they can reduce this KVR drawn from the line, if they reduce it. Suppose presently he is drawing this amount. Now by any means, if you can reduce this KVR up to this point, then automatically his power angle will be like this. This is suppose new phi 1. You know cos phi, as phi decreases, cos phi increases. So this cos phi suppose 0.8. When is make the angle phi 1 by some artificial mean reduce the KVR, then automatically suppose power factor is 0.9. So automatically as the power factor increase, automatically his KVR demand drawing from the line is reduced. Automatically KVA also reduced. You see, this is the new KVA. So for reduce the KVR on the line or the drawing from the utility company, all the medium voltage and low voltage consumers whose power factor is poor, 0.8 or below 0.9 or below 0.8, between 0.8 to 0.9, they always try to improve the power factor by reducing the drawing KVR. How they do it? This KVR is a inductive KVR. So what they do? They connect, they inject KVR, reactive KVR means capacitive KVR in the line. They inject capacitive KVR in the line so that the reactive KVR demand from the system will be reduced. We already said that reactive KVR, inductive KVR is working this direction. This is a inductive KVR. This is a KVR due to L, reactance. If they put a capacitance and the capacitor is drawing KVR or injecting KVR, that will be in the opposite direction. That is a KVR due to capacitance. So if this capacitor is connected, then this will produce this amount of KVR. So when this capacitor is connected in suppose this is a transmission line, this is a plant is connected over here. If he can put a capacitor bank over here, then this capacitor is connected in parallel with the line and it will inject this KVR in the system. Then effectively the demand from the line will be how much? Total amount minus this amount. So this amount, suppose this amount is this. So effectively he need to cover this amount of KVR. So automatically his KVR demand on the line is reduced, and when the KVR demand is reduced, I have already shown, automatically power factor will get improved. So this is the application of the capacitor bank in the medium voltage and low voltage distribution system. So in medium voltage and low voltage distribution system, capacitor bank is used to improve the power factor. It will not improve the consumption of energy, but it will improve the power factor, and due to improving of the power factor, maximum demand on the line will be reduced. But the active power is not reducing. You have seen the vector diagram. This is a kilowatt. Kilowatt is remain fixed. Only the KVR portion, this portion we are playing. We are trying to reduce initially this amount. Ultimately by putting the KVA reactive bar, we are drawing this amount of power. So our KVA will be this amount instead of initially this amount. So we are reducing this by improving. Suppose this angle is phi 1, this angle is phi 2. Phi 1 is greater than phi 2. When we injecting the KVR, reactive KVR in the system, and then we do, this is a total KVR requirement, and this is our X due to KVR due to X is this amount. So effectively line is drawing only this amount. So by then automatically phi 2 is less than phi 1, and we are getting better power factor. Cos phi 2 is greater than cos phi 1. So automatically kilowatt is which is the effective meaningful power, that is remain fixed. Only this portion is reduced, for which we get the better voltage drop. We get voltage drop will be less, then loss will be less because the total current is reduced, because KVA we already shown, KVA corresponding current will be, active current is remain same, but the reactive component of the current will be reduced. Automatically loading on the line will be less, and the efficiency of the line will be improved. Consumer, on the industrial consumers who is drawing the power, his bill will be less, so he will be benefited. So this is the application of the shunt capacitor. So this shunt capacitor is connected in parallel to the distribution system. So suppose it is a 11 kV distribution system we are showing. So 11 kV distribution system, suppose this is the incomer is connected, there are two incomer and there is a bus coupler. This is the 11 kV distribution system. Okay. Now here suppose there is various equipments are connected. This is motor connected, there is a transformer is connected, other things are there. So there are two bus. Suppose I am considering one bus. Then what we will do? We will put another breaker over here with a capacitor bank. This is a capacitor bank we will connect over here. This is a 11 kV capacitor bank. This capacitor bank will do what? It will inject, when you connect this capacitor bank, automatically it will inject the VAR on the system. So the amount of kVAR drawn from here it is drawing kilowatt plus kVAR. This kVAR value will be reduced by this amount of kVAR. Suppose it is given kVAR 1 and it is given kVAR 2. So the amount of, initially it was given kVAR. Now when it is giving this one, his demand will be kVAR minus kVAR 1. That will be his requirement. So this amount of kVAR he will be drawing. So it will be less. So his power factor is improved. Now to protect this capacitor bank, what is the arrangement we have to make? I am drawing on 3-line diagram. Again I am telling the same thing. This capacitor bank is not a single unit. It is a multiple unit in each phase. There are 3 phases. Okay. So suppose this is 11 kV bus bar. Now this is a capacitor bank. This is a breaker. It is coming over here. So this is a capacitor bank. I am drawing. Suppose this is a one phase. Yeah. So this is a one unit. Is a multiple unit like this inside. Okay. This is a multiple unit is connected inside. So suppose this is one of the phase, and then it is a multiple unit inside connected. Suppose I am drawing 2 unit. I am showing. This is a one phase. Similarly, other phase are there. Huh? This is one phase. There will be another phase will be here. Other phase will be there. 3 phase. Huh? This is the total capacitor bank. Now same as well is the capacitor bank connected with this. When you switch on, there will be high current. If there is any phase fault in the capacitor, we have to protect the capacitor bank from the phase fault. How will we do that? We will put a CT over here, and that CT will protect. What will we do? We put 50. We will put 51, and then we will put 51 in. These are the 3 protection we will provide over here. How we will put? We are already drawn. These are the 3 line. We will put a CT, 3 CT. This will be shorted, and then here we will connect the corresponding relay. Some 50. This 350, then 50 will go to 51, then it will go to neutral will be formed over here. This neutral, this is another relay, and then 51N will be connected over here. This way, these 3 will be connected. So we will provide 50, 51, 51N protection. This will take care of the phase fault. This 50 will be taken as instantaneous phase fault. If it failed to operate, then 51 will be operating, and 51 will be coordinating with this incoming protection. Okay, and 51N will take the earth fault protection. That is a standard practice. Now we have sent this. If this unit failed, if any of the unit inside a particular phase is failed, then we can do in 2 ways. One way is we can connect this Smith point and we can put a CT over here. So this CT will instantly it will monitor the current, differential current over here, and it will protect. That is one way we can do it. All the protection will trip this breaker. Okay. So this is one way we can protect this system from the internal earth fault. This is one way. Another way we can do. If this, I have already said that this capacitor bank is not a, each unit has a multiple unit, and this 3-phase capacitor bank, either it is connected in star or delta. So suppose this, I am drawing a 3-phase, suppose this is a 3-phase unit. This is a 3-phase unit. One phase I am showing, these are the other 2 phases, okay. So this is a, suppose this is connected in star. So if this is, now if this capacitor bank, if there is any of the phases, suppose this phase, suppose there are 10 units inside this phase, suddenly 2 units fail inside, then automatically what will happen? The current flowing through these will be different from the other 2 phases, right? The moment then this point is a neutral point, this is a star point, right? This point, these 3 are connected together. In the neutral point, normal condition, there is no current. But when there is any of the unit fail, immediately there will be a current over here. If there is a current, then what we can do? We can, if this neutral point is grounded, okay, if this neutral point is grounded, then we can put a CT over here, and then we provide a 50 relay over here, because when this unbalanced current is going, immediately with a timer, it will trip the breaker. That is one way we can do. Another way we can do is, as we said, this is one of the bank capacitor bank, but capacitor bank is always connected in multiple branch. It is not at least 2 branch. In the medium voltage, we put at least 2 branch like this. So this is another bank. These 2 banks are connected the same point. This is also star connected. This is also star connected. Now, if there is a 2 bank like this connected in star, this internal phase will also monitor in different way. We can connect this star, and then we can put a CT over here. Then, if any of the capacitor bank, any of the unit fail, then immediately normal condition, both stars are connected. No current between these 2. The moment any of the unit has a misalignment, any of the unit fail or imbalance inside the unit, then immediately between this star point current will flow, and this CT will detect that current, and the relay will operate. 50 relay will be, or 50N you can say, this relay will operate, and it will trip this breaker. This way also we can protect this thing. And if this system is not grounded, then we can do another way. We can do this protection. What we can do, if the system is not grounded, suppose this is an ungrounded system or delta connected system. So when there is an imbalance current will flow, normal condition, the voltage at the start point, Vs equal to 0, here voltage is 0, here is voltage, because these are the three capacitor bank connected in a star, right? These are the three capacitor bank. So connected in a star, the start point voltage Vs equal to 0 in normal condition if the system is balanced. But if there is any of the unit failed, then there will be imbalance. Then the voltage will not be 0 here or will not be 0 here. So what we can do, we can put a single phase PT over here with a output will be connected to a 59 relay, over voltage relay. So the moment normal condition both the voltages are equal, there is no protection, there is no voltage over here. The moment any of the unit fail, then there will be imbalance voltage between this point, then this PT will detect the imbalance voltage, immediately it will be operating. This is the another way we can do. And third way, if it is a delta connected, in that case at that point we don't have the start point. In that case what we can do, in the delta connected system we can put a PT in different way. We can use a this summation VT, that is open delta arrangement we can do. In that case these are the three, suppose these are the three capacitor bank, three phase capacitor bank, and it is connected in delta. Suppose it is connected in this way, okay, in this way, and then this is your capacitor, it is going this way. What we can do, we can put a PT over here. This is one PT. Suppose this is capacitor bank, this is another PT. So PT secondary side, it will be connected in delta. These are the three PT. Yeah. So it will be connected over here, and then open delta here will put 59 relay. So normal condition, when the all this capacitor balance, this voltage will be balanced. The moment any of the unit fail, immediately what will happen? There will be imbalance in that. In that case, this PT secondary voltage will not be in balance. Then this open delta voltage will detect this. Okay. This way we can protect this transformer. This portion I am drawing freshly. These are the three PT. This is the primary side of the PT. Okay. And there is a capacitor bank is connected between these. There is a capacitor bank over here, and this is a capacitor bank. Okay. This is a PT, and this PT is connected in delta. Okay. These are the three PT, and this PT connected over 0. The primary say this side, these are the three PT. Now here the secondary side, these are the three secondary. What do we do? We connect this way, and between this we don't short. We put the 59 relay. It is called open delta voltage. If the voltage is balanced, in the delta voltage, when the system is balanced, there is no voltage over here. The moment there is the imbalance in this delta, then immediately this PT will get the voltage, and then there will open delta voltage will come over here. So this way also by over voltage protection we can protect this PT of this capacitor bank for the medium voltage application. So these are the various. In addition to this, sometimes we put PT over here, and we can give a over voltage and under voltage protection over here also. Under voltage and over voltage protection, that also sometimes we provide depending on the application. So when we go to the medium voltage distribution system, we can say the protection which we provide for the capacitor bank is consisting of 50 overcurrent, instantaneous overcurrent, IDM2 overcurrent, then neutral arc fault overcurrent. Then we provide either 50 N by neutral point or by 59 over voltage. In addition to this, we can provide 27 and 59. These are the protection we provide for the medium voltage capacitor bank for the capacitor power factor improvement. And the last part is the low voltage capacitor bank. It is similar to this medium voltage capacitor bank, but only difference is here is we use the slightly different way. Suppose this is the LV distribution system, LV switchboard. Here we take a one breaker. Suppose this is one breaker we are taking, and the others are connected over here. Suppose this is a motor is connected over here, then other transformer may be connected over here. All this is connected. Here this capacitor, when we do not put a one capacitor over here, because in the medium voltage this problem is medium voltage capacitor bank is not fixed. Depending, suppose a plant has a 50 number motor, but all the 50 number motor will not be running together. Sometime it will be running 40 number motor, sometime 30 number, sometime 20 number, sometime maybe 15 number. So when number of motor increases, power factor will go down and down. So in that case you need a more capacitor bank. Suppose 40 number motor you need 4 capacitor bank. For 30 number you need 3, 20 number 2, 15 number maybe 1. If this is the arrangement of the capacitor bank, in that case I have to connect, or 50 number motor running, you need 5 capacitor bank. In that case what will happen? I have to connect all the 5 capacitor bank on this system, and then I have to make a switching on off depending on the requirement. So what we do normally, we take one feeder for the capacitor bank, and then it is connected to another switchboard, and here what we do, we put a separate capacitor bank here. This way we put separate capacitor here, maybe total 5 number capacitor bank we are providing. Okay, this way total 5. So when we need a 4 number capacitor bank, then we will be switching on 4. How we will do that? We put in that case we use a controller. The controller is, this is our controller. Okay, let's first discuss about protection, then we'll come about the controlling. So this capacitor bank is switching, automatic switching requirement is there. That I will discuss separately. Now when you look into the capacitor bank protection, it is the same way. We will put a CT over here, and that CT will be provided 50 and 51, right? And then it will protect 51 and as before, same way. Okay, and the capacitor bank downstream here, yeah, if I have said already, we can do in simple way. Suppose these are the two in one phase is like this. So what we can do? Suppose this is another one. We take the midpoint, center point, and we put connect this center point. We put a CT over here, and then we put a 50 for protection of this internal fault. That is one way we can do. Other way we can do, if there is a two bank, each capacitor bank minimum has a two bank normally always. So in that case, this 3 capacitor bank, what we can do? We can connect in, this is in extra connection one bank, and there is another extra connection another bank. So these 3 are connected together, and we put a CT over here, and from this CT we can operate 50 N delay. That way also internal capacitor bank protection can be provided. So in this case, in the case of capacitor bank, individual capacitor bank is provided with a 50, 51, 51N, and imbalance protection the capacitor will provide by another 50N by monitoring the differential current. Okay. Now these are the 5 capacitor. Now this capacitor bank is protected upstream also by another CT which will provide a 51 and 51N protection. Okay. And then we provide also unbalanced protection of 47, because there are so many capacitor bank is connected. If the system get imbalance, if this system voltage is imbalanced, then there will be imbalance in the system, and imbalance current should not pass through the capacitor bank. In that case, capacitor bank like a battery, is one string may be getting overheated. So that also we do not allow. So we provide 47 also with this 51. So this way capacitor bank is protected. On the incomer side, we provide overcurrent, arc fault, and we put 47 unbalanced protection. And on the each individual bank, we provide the same protection by 50, 51, 51N, and then imbalance protection we provide separate either by 50N or by either extra point connected CT or on the CT between the midpoint. These are the protection. Now consider now the another point we need to discuss over here, this switching arrangement. What do we do here? We use a solid state or electronics controller. That controller we call power factor controller. This is called PCF. Power factor controller. When any of the protection operate, ultimately it will trip the respective breaker. This breaker will get tripped in any of this operation through the lockout. It will go to a lockout relay, and from the lockout relay it will trip. Now this power factor controller is solid state device. What does it do? There is a incomer. This is a incomer, and this is it put a PT over here. This put it take the voltage over here, and it take a CT. This CT we put another CT for this. The CT supply come over here. So from this CT and PT supply, this unit can monitor the power factor of the incoming system. How much power factor? And incoming power factor depend on this, how much current it is drawing from the system. So if by this voltage and current it monitoring the power factor, if measure power factor is 0.8 for a particular, suppose 30 motor running at that time is power factor 0.8, he need the power factor 0.9, he knows I have to switch on 3 capacitor bank. Immediately the power factor will send a command to this 3 breaker, this breaker, this breaker, and this breaker for closing. It is all a shunt close breaker, or you can put a contactor. So immediately these 3 breaker will be closed and this capacitor bank will be online. Then it will take this required capacitance KVR. So automatically drawing of the capacitor reactive KVR from the line will be reduced. Suppose he needs a phone number. Suppose 40 number motors are running on the low voltage system. At that time he need a phone number capacitor bank. So what will he do? This power control factor, this controller, power factor controller unit, immediately it will send command to the 4 unit, and then 4 unit will be switched on. So suddenly the power it measure when 30 motors are running, 3 capacitor bank is switched on. At that time suddenly this unit monitor the input power factor down to 0.95, suppose 0.9. So in that case he understand why it is running over power factor. So he may immediately give a command to trip one of the capacitor bank. So everything is controlled by this solid state controller, power factor controller. It's called PFC, power factor controller. Okay. So this is a monitoring which is getting voltage and current from the incoming side. So that is why this power factor low voltage capacitor bank is switched on and switched off. In addition to this, low voltage capacitor bank also protected from the under voltage and over voltage. How they will do that? In the same way, what you will do, here this is a low voltage distribution system, this is a breaker, this is a capacitor bank is connected. So what you will do in the incomer, so this is our incomer we have drawn. We have seen we have put the PT over here. From the PT we put a under voltage and over voltage relay. 27 relay, 27 and 59. This 27 relay and 59 relay going together giving a command to this. It is go through a lockout relay. So how we will do that? All the protection I am drawing one schematic for medium voltage and low voltage. Suppose this is the control supply coming from here. So this is a breaker trip coil. Yeah, this is a breaker trip coil, or it is a contactor coil. It could be breaker trip coil, or it is a contactor closing coil, whatever it may be. Now what is happening over here? Suppose it is a breaker trip coil. Suppose this is a breaker trip coil. Okay, then it is easy to. Now here what we are doing? We are putting the various protection relay. These are the protection relay contact. Suppose this is a 50, this is a 51, this is a 51N, and then it may be 47, which we put an unbalanced protection, or 50 protection, 50N unbalanced. So all this protection is coming, is joined together, and then this is one, we go direct to this contact, this when any one of them, then this is going over here, then we put a lockout relay contact over here. There is a lockout relay is connected over here. This is a lockout relay 86. Okay, this 86 contact we connect over here, 86. But in parallel, what we do? These also we can connect from here over here. There are two connections. One connection directly from the contact is coming to the tip coil. That is one, giving directive. It will not wait. Second is the same contact is activating 86, and 86 also getting lockout. It is giving. So this will not, this lockout we are providing this way parallel. If we do not give this thing, it will also work, but it will be delayed. It will wait up the 86. Suppose 86 fail. 86 fail to operate. In that case, this protection will not operate. That's why sometimes we do, to make 100% sure, we tap directly from here to the tip coil, and in parallel we give the 86. 86 is also giving a tripping command. So if this 86 fail, still my breaker will be tripped. The tip coil will be energized. Immediately breaker will trip. So all this protection here also we can put 27 and 59 if required. All are connected in parallel, and then this is going to the lockout relay 86, and 86 can give the tip command, and directly we can take the tip command. Okay, these are the way we are do. But if we go for the contactor circuit, then it will be different. Here we will put NC contact of 86, and then it will be contactor closing coil. This is a contactor closing coil. So when 86 is not operated, the contactor is closed. The moment this operation, any of the protection operated, 86 lockout will operate, immediately this will open, contactor will drop, circuit will be open. If this is not a breaker circuit, if it is a contactor circuit, then contactor circuit will be in the reverse way. So these are the protection for the LV capacitor bank. So with this, I think we have already completed 45 minutes. So we have completed the capacitor bank protection, and then when you look into the switch gear has a various type of feeders. So all the feeders we have already completed. Generator feeder we have completed, transformer feeder we have completed, motor feeder we have completed, capacitor feeder we have completed today. Then we have only two feeder is pending. One is your earthing transformer feeder, another is a tie feeder between two switchboard. In the next session we'll do, in the session 10 we'll do that thing. After completing this thing, we'll go to the switchboard protection, then we'll go for the transmission system protection. So this is all about today. I would like to thank you all for your continued support. Thank you very much.